I read 3 physical books and then 3 novellas. I don't have them, so I'll put pictures of them up on the screen. But the first book I read was Borrow My Heart by Casey West. It was a cute romance. I gave it 3.5 stars. I liked the whole premise, but the whole execution of it wasn't what I thought in my head that it was going to be. So 3.5 stars. I really recommend this though. This was cute and had me giggling a whole bunch. Next two are, I finished the Chestnut Spring series, and I really liked the last 2 books. Well, I like the whole series. The whole series is a 5-star. But I read Reckless, and I gave that one 4.5 stars. It's a small town secret baby romance. I ended up getting the audiobook, and it had 2 narrators, which I love when audiobooks do that. And I highly recommend getting the audiobooks because it gives you such a more immersive experience with it. So I highly recommend this whole series. Next, I read the last book in that series, which is Hopeless. I think I gave it 4.75 stars. Super close to a 5-star. But it was, again, a small town, but it had fake dating in it. And this book I've been waiting to get to ever since Flawless, when I mentioned Beau, because this is his book, and he has a fake fiance, and that trope, it sounds so funny, but it was done really well, and I really enjoyed it. And again, I listened to it on through audio, and I highly recommend listening to this series. If it's the dual narrators, I highly recommend listening to that. But I really liked this. I really liked because he has PTSD from the military, and I really liked how that was portrayed and how hard it is for them to kind of switch that gear off and return to like civil life or whatever. And I think that was done really well. I really liked her as well. Not really in the first half, but toward the second half of it, I really enjoyed her character. But like I mentioned earlier, I highly recommend this series. This series is a 5-star read. If you like small town, if you like a family feeling or like a found family aspect, that's basically what all of these books entail or intertwined is a big, huge found family, which I really love. But yeah. The next ones that I read, sorry, I'm checking my little list that I made. I read 3 different novellas. I didn't rate them because they were so short. I think all of them, if not most of the ones that I read, and it's only 3, were under 100 pages, and I didn't feel confident to rate novellas like that. I don't really like novellas, but I wanted to give them a try because some of them were from authors that I've heard of, and the only one I can remember is Rosie and the Dreamboat, but that's it. I don't remember really what happened in the other ones because they were so short, and that's why I don't normally gravitate toward novellas, because as soon as I finish reading them, I'm I forget everything that happens. But yes, so those were all of the books that I read in April. And hopefully I get more reading done in May, but we'll see. I am not doing a board game chooses my TBR for this month because during the month I'm not wanting to read them. So I am picking books that I want to read currently, and hopefully that stays throughout the month of May, but we'll see. So the first book I have on my TBR is still from last month. I didn't finish it, and I wasn't in the mood to continue reading it, but that is Butcher and Blackbird. I'm currently 147 pages into it, so a little under halfway. but I just wasn't in the mood to continue reading this, so hopefully I get back in the mood because I was tabbing it and everything. So, and I was having a good time. I just lost the mood for it. But this is book number 1. The second book on my May TBR I'm currently reading, and that is Chase and the Girl Who Came Back. This is a young adult contemporary romance set in Australia, and the girl has a medical issue, and he helps take care of her. He takes care of her, and I love when the male main character has to take care of the female main character. It makes me so happy. So this is the one I'm currently reading. Next one is called Monsters Within. I don't remember what this one is about, but I got this at a romance book conference I went to last year, I believe. So I want to try and get through as many of the books as I got from there. So yeah, Monsters Within. And it's a dark romance. The next book is a fluffy type romance, and that is Unsteady. The male main character has panic attacks, and the female main character, and he's a hockey player, and the female main character is an ice skater or figure skater. And she witnesses that he has a panic attack, helps him through it, I think, and then they fall in love. I hope. Next, I have The 1000th Floor. I've heard from my friends Katie and Emily who have read this, and it's one of Emily's favorite books, and I think Katie rated it high as well. But they kept saying it's like Gossip Girl coded, and you have all these different levels of this tower, and the higher level that you are, the more like rich and powerful you are, and then obviously the lower ones are the more poorer and like slum type areas. But I think there's a mystery type thing to it as well as like a fantasy aspect, but I am not sure. So that is hopefully what I'm going to get to this month. The next one I think is more of like a dark romance, billionaire, and rich people romance, and that is King of Wrath. I've heard this is really good from my friends, and I can't wait to read it. I've heard nothing but good things about it, and I need to read more billionaire romances, so I'm excited. Next, I think, is another billionaire romance. I could be wrong. I don't know. But that is Brutal Prince. I've been wanting to read this for a long time, but I've been holding off because I heard the Bloom edition was going to have pictures. And can I just say, I love when pictures are in books. It makes me so happy. So when I saw that this one had pictures, I got very, very excited. The next 2 books that I aim to get, I think will go by really quick because one of them is less than 200 pages, and I think the other one is also, yeah, they're both under 200 pages. The first one is Rental Person Who Does Nothing. It's a Japanese story that was translated. It's basically about a person who gets told by their boss, like, you're a waste of space, you do nothing for this job, and that gets him thinking, oh, well, I wonder if that can be useful instead of not useful. So he creates a whole service called, I think, Rental Person Who Does Nothing. And it's basically, if you need a companion, you can rent him or rent a person to come hang out with you. You can, there are some examples are you or accompanying a divorcee client to her favorite restaurant, or just simply waving at the client from a train platform. So like you're waving like, oh, goodbye, I'll miss you, or whatever. So I saw this and I was like, okay, that sounds cute and interesting, and it's short, so I have to pick it up. Last but not least, the other short book is Annihilation. It's part of a trilogy and they're all super short. And it's basically about an area where there's this group of like explorers, but they all have different jobs to do. And they're just basically sent off to this weird, desolate kind of area. And that's very dangerous, and other expeditions have went and came back with like illnesses and craziness and stuff. But they go, and there's an anthropologist, a surveyor, a psychologist, and the narrator of this story, the biologist. And they're basically just to record, like map the terrain, record their surroundings, observations, like plants, animals, wildlife, all of that, and like test everything to see if it's contaminated, but also to avoid getting contaminated. And I guess some things start to happen that surprise all of them. It's very sci-fi thriller vibes, so I'm excited. Like I said, it is under 200 pages, and there's only 5 chapters in it. So I think once I'm in the sci-fi mood, hopefully this month, that it will go by really quick.